Now the party started. Bugger. It's quite mad.
I'm Andrew Wincott. You've heard me as Raphael in Baldur's Gate 3, but Malteus? He's a different kind of devil. Once a minor demon of greed, now the archdemon of thirst. You're bleeding? Wonderful. Red is the color of victory, at least for me. Like fine champagne. He trades souls for booze, sells lies smoother than fine wine, and convinces anyone, everyone, even angels, to take a sip. If hell had a happy hour, he'd be running it. It was an amazing experience. It was just like dissolving into another reality, another world. The violence took me a bit by surprise, being assailed by these drunken sort of zombie, and the only way to deal with them is to punch them. I mean, you can't sit. Can you perhaps at some point in some manifestation of the game, iteration of the game, one can sit down and have a sort of philosophical chat. Oh, I don't know, something medieval themed, something maybe out of Lord of the Rings, or something lit with that would have old wooden settles and hurricane lamps, an old smuggler's tavern perhaps. I was recently in Ireland and I felt I'd gone back about 50 years there, real old school. I don't think you could eat there, but if you could, I would probably want traditional pub fare. I'd want real ale, selection of real ales, casks, lots of wood, and a real fire. That's essential. Hell is one can imagine hell being where the mind is, or heaven and hell. You have to decide. But I don't know. My tavern wouldn't be the gateway to hell, but certainly there would have to be a fire. I would try not to avoid that, because you just get a bad rep for that. But one thing I do remember is when I was in Vienna, there was no idea of a round, because you would order at the table and the waiter would serve you your drinks at the table, and at the end of the evening you'd say, oh, I don't know, he'd come to you individually. And he'd ask you what you had. And you go, well, I think I had 3 Krugers. I think it was 3. He'd say, no, it was 4. So he'd know exactly what you had. And of course, it depended on trust. People just didn't abuse it. That's how it felt. So the system worked. It might not work in the UK because we don't have the same tradition, which is a shame. But yeah, we do have the system of rounds. So just don't leave before it's your round, is my idea, unless you don't care who you're drinking with. The weapon I would choose to deploy would be the means to de-escalate, to negotiate, the great diplomatic key. Wouldn't that be wonderful? That's the ultimate weapon, I think, or one aspires to it in this terribly uncertain world. Well, having already played Raphael, or, if you will, the devil, and played him trying to find all his charm and all those wonderful apparent contradictions and complexities, all the light and shade. I would like to play a character as complicated as potentially Dracula. I think that would be fun. There's a line in Hamlet, the devil hath power to assume a pleasing shape. And I think all the best Draculas have charm. I mean, Gary Oldman's Dracula had lots of charm and charisma, power, danger, yes, but lots of charm. Do they come to me, or yes, I don't know. A little of both, maybe. The dark characters are the most interesting. And a little bit, as I was saying, I think if you find the light and shade, you find the charm and the power, and you balance. You find you walk a tightrope between them. I often find myself thinking that if I'm playing a heroic character, I will look for the anti-heroic qualities. If I'm playing an anti-heroic character, I will look for the heroic qualities. So you look for the darker side. And the conflicted side. I mean, if to come back to Hamlet, if one's playing Hamlet, one wants to find all the different levels, but he is everything because he's anti-traffics in theatricality. I mean, he assumes an antic disposition. He's all things at many different times. So there's a sort of chameleon-like quality to him, which is why he's fantastic for an actor to play. I will approach it in the same way. And it'll be a question of balance, finesse, I would think. So if he's more theatrical than he is powerful or dark or dangerous, but it'll be a question of balancing all those things, I think. I mean, Raphael is nothing if not theatrical. And he teases and manipulates the player in a seductive and appealing way. But I would look for finding a balance, the right balance, between that theatricality that is always fun to play. Very exciting. Thank you. Thanks for inviting me on board.